This opening helped me reach 2500 elo. It starts with the queen's pawn, and after black copies it, you play knight to c3. Wait, is this the boring London? No. The difference is, instead of building the pyramid, you get the bishop here, you put the pony on c3, and if they play knight to here, the game is already over. The most common looking move is a mistake because you can hop the pony to b5, double attack on the c7 pawn. And just like that, you can check out the king and win the rook. The only way to save the pawn is to push it. Then you simply take the pawn, attack the knight. If the knight hops into e4, you got the crazy queen sacrifice. You sacrifice the queen on move 6. Black takes, you simply take on c7, check out and win the queen back. In just 8 moves, you're 2 pawns up. If they do not go here but go there to attack the bishop, you simply push it and protect it. Knight takes the bishop, you take back. You're already 1 pawn up, you got double pawns, but no problem. Pawn push to kick away the knight, you simply go here, offer the knight trade. A move like c5 to kick the queen is not a problem. You can go back, long castle, you're pawn up and happy. So after bishop here, knight here loses. What if they try pawn push? Then again your idea is same, to hop the knight here, pressure on the c7 pawn. They can defend this 2 ways, either use the knight to defend it or the bishop. If they use the knight, simply push the pawn to e3. Pawn push, kick away the knight, you can simply come back. Now the bishop is attacking this knight. If they're not careful, you can simply take the knight and double them pawns. And just like that, you have a good position. The pawn structure is ruined and you can win this. If they do not go bishop here but move the knight to avoid the double pawns, you continue on developing the pieces. Develop the knight here, and whenever they put bishop here trying to trade the bishops, this is an important move. You get the knight to e5, prevent the trade and sit your knight on this outpost. Castle, you get the bishop out to d3 looking at h7. They can never take your knight. You can always take back with the pawn, kick away the bishop. And just like that, bishop is looking at the king. You bring the queen into the attack. With the power of this bishop and this queen looking in, you can launch an early attack. So instead of taking, they can try c5 to break the center. You simply take, he takes, and then you bring the queen to f3. You want a long castle and use this bishop, this knight, and the queen to launch a kingside attack. A move like pawn push is not a problem. You take, he take, you simply castle. This knight is never a problem. You're not gonna take back. Look at the tactics. The rook is lined up to the queen. Sacrifice the juicer and win the queen. So instead of using this knight to defend the pawn, what if they use the bishop? Simply chop it off. Then they get double pawns. They lose the good bishop and your bishop cannot be challenged anymore. Continue by putting the pawn to e3. Then you get the knight to f3, same as last time. Castle, then you simply push the pawn to c3. This is the pyramid of the London, but this is even better. One thing you need to be very careful. After rook here, do not autopilot the London. Use your brain. Bishop here is the mistake. Black gets in pawn push, attacking the bishop. Takes, you move the bishop away, then pawn push, double attack, and you lose. So instead of putting the bishop here, simply put the bishop here. Pawn push, do not take, simply go here, pin his knight. Pawn push, go here, maintain the pin. Pawn push is not a problem. All your pieces are safe. All you want to do is simply castle. You got the safety. Even a move like g5 is not a problem. All your pieces are safe. And you can simply put the queen to b3 and slowly get c4. Takes, your knight looks at this, bishop looks at this, you put the rook on c file and play this out. So this knight here is a big problem. What if they try c6 to prevent it? Then simply put the pawn to e3 and whenever the bishop comes out to f5, you got to push the pawn to f3, get the g4, h4 early attack going. e6, g4, kick away the bishop, h4 ready to trap. If they're not careful, h5 just wins away the bishop. If they try h6 to prevent the trap, then you simply put bishop here, trade off the bishops. And if black tries bishop here trying to trade, you develop the knight and save it. You continue by long castling and look at this position. g5 is coming. You're ready to put the rook on the g file. The rook is on the h file. Attack is unstoppable. So after h4, instead of h6, if they tried h5, simply push the pawn, kick away the knight, and then knight to h3. This looks so strange, but you're simply saving the bishop. One day the bishop will go away and the knight will sit on f4. And then put the bishop to d3. You want to trade the bishop, put the queen there. Same as before. If they go g6 trying to get the bishop here in castle, then you do not allow it. Put the bishop here. Be annoying. Don't let him castle. If they try bishop here to trade, you do not fear. The knight is there protecting it. Simply castle. Takes, you take back with the knight. And again, your idea is to get the crazy g6. Attack this. Knight attacks this. They don't want to take. The queen is there to take back. Okay, black tried c6 to say no. What if they go for the counter attack? c5 counter attack. Simply push. Defend it out. Again, same as the first line. If they are lazy with the development, it's over. The pony is always hopping to b5, poking you out. e5 is even worse. You can take it. The knight goes there. You win the pony. Knight goes here, you get to sacrifice the queen yet again. Queen takes, knight check, attack the king and win back the queen. Again, 2 pawns up. And if they go back, this is doomed. You got the crazy pawn sacrifice. Pawn takes, fork it out. Check the king and win the rook. So they have to take the pawn. You take back. They push a6 to prevent the cheeky knight hopping. Then you use the other knight ready to hop into e5. Knight here trying to cover it. You go there anyway. Now if they play e6 not developing the bishop, you remove the knight. Get the bishop to e2 and you simply castle. Center break, not a problem. You can take back. This position is completely fine. You can put the rook on the e file, d file and play this out. But if they try to develop the bishop, this is the point of putting the knight on e5. To go crazy, get in the g4, attack the bishop. If they take the knight, you do not take back, but you take the bishop. You got to go back. And again, the g file is open. You put the queen on d3, long castle and attack the kid. So they have to go back. And then you get the same as before. h4 trying to trap the bishop. h5 prevent it. Now that's the problem. H pawn does not defend the bishop. You take it, double them out, push, kick away the knight, put the queen on d3, attack g6, attack d5 and you're winning. Okay, so c5 was a bit too risky. They could try bishop here, simply trying to copy and develop the bishop. But same as before, whenever the bishop comes out to f5, you want to play f3, get in g4, kick away the bishop, get h4, ready to trap him out. h5 trying to save it, you don't take, but push it, kick away the knight. Then e3, ready to put the bishop here. He attacks, be careful, got to defend it, put the knight on h3, save it. If he takes, you're happy to take with the knight. If he gets the knight out, you simply develop the bishop. You're fine trading this way. Instead of h5, if they try h6 to keep it simple, you go e3, same as before. Whenever they attack the bishop, put the knight on h3 to protect it. If he takes, you're happy. You attack the bishop. This is bad because after bishop goes, you got the g5, attack the knight and pawn takes. Attack on the knight, rook on the open file, save the pony, g6. Bishop cannot move, there's a free rook behind. Takes, the pony hops. Bishop takes the knight, you win the rook. Rook moves away, you win the bishop. Instead of taking the bishop, if they simply develop, you do the same thing. Put the bishop there. Copy out the ideas. Same. One bishop on f4, one bishop on d3 and the knight there. Takes, you take back with the queen. Takes, you take back with the knight. Queen out, you long castle. And life is simple. I know you learned so many lines. Now the last one. If they rush it, play a6 in the early to prevent the knight from hopping. What to do? Same. Pawn to e3. This is why London is the best. Bishop comes out. You know when the bishop is there, f3, g4, h4, h5. That's the plan. If the bishop does not come out but push the pawn, this is where all the fun lies. You go g4, ready to march to g5. c5, do not care. g5, kick away the knight. Knight goes away, h4, early attack for you. Knight here, you simply develop your knight. b5, do not care. You can put the bishop on h3, look at this square. And then if he attacks your knight, simply come back. Your center is solid. a5, now you'd be surprised, you can simply castle. The king is safe behind all these pieces. Bishop here, you simply go e1, unpin the knight, ready to go. Bishop here, hop the knight to f4. That is the plan, bishop to g3. Then knight to f4, and he has to be careful if he goes away looking for a queenside play. This pawn is very soft, attacked by the knight and the bishop. Sacrifice the knight, check out the king and win the knight. Just like that, you're 2 pawns up. So instead of moving the queen, if he tries to take the center pawn, you take back. Now even the rook is lined up on this pawn. This is the power of the Jobava London, where you put the knight on c3, bishop on f4. Idea is, whenever the bishop comes out, f, g, h, roll him. Otherwise, pawn on e3, bishop here, knight there. The basic setup to roll every kid in town.